Charlie Munger's concept of the latticework of mental models has achieved legendary status in the world of investing. By encouraging individuals to draw insights from a wide array of disciplines, Munger's approach promises a deeper, more nuanced understanding of complex problems. Investors and thinkers alike have embraced this philosophy, regarding it as a key to superior decision-making. Yet, beneath its celebrated reputation lies a provocative question. What if this revered framework is not the ultimate solution, but rather a subtle intellectual trap? Could the pursuit of countless mental models actually hinder clarity and lead to overcomplication? In this section, we explore the central enigma surrounding Munger's latticework and challenge its untouchable status. Mental models have become a cornerstone of modern investing philosophy, with countless experts advocating their use as a way to simplify complex decisions. Many investors rely on these frameworks, believing they provide clarity and a strategic edge in navigating financial markets. This widespread belief has influenced how portfolios are constructed and how risks are assessed. However, the popularity of mental models raises important questions about their actual effectiveness and potential pitfalls. In this section, we begin to examine whether these trusted tools might carry hidden risks that are often overlooked. By investigating the true impact of mental models, we aim to uncover the realities behind their influence on investor behavior. The Great Latticework Trap refers to the hidden dangers that arise when we rely too heavily on mental models to make sense of the world. While these frameworks can help us organize information and solve problems, they also carry risks. Pursuing an ever-expanding collection of mental models can lead to analysis paralysis, where decision-making becomes bogged down by overthinking. At the same time, an over-reliance on these models may foster a sense of overconfidence, causing us to overlook important details or alternative perspectives. As we explore this concept further, we'll see how these pitfalls can result in costly mistakes, both in personal and professional contexts. Understanding the limitations of mental models is crucial for making better, more balanced decisions. Before delving into the specifics of the investment trap, it's essential to first understand Charlie Munger's personal context and motivations. Munger is widely recognized for his pragmatic approach to investing, favoring rational analysis over emotional decision-making. His background, experiences, and values have shaped the way he evaluates opportunities and risks. By appreciating what drives Munger, we gain insight into the reasoning behind his choices and the discipline he applies to his strategies. This perspective allows us to better interpret the lessons he shares and the cautionary tales he presents. Ultimately, understanding Munger's mindset provides a crucial foundation for recognizing the subtle pitfalls he warns against in the world of investing. Many investors try to follow Charlie Munger's advice by simply searching for companies with strong fundamentals and holding them for the long term. While this approach captures the essence of Munger's philosophy, it often overlooks the deeper analysis and discipline he advocates. Investors may rely too heavily on basic financial metrics or popular market trends, assuming that buying well-known stocks is sufficient. This simplistic method can lead to overconfidence and neglect of thorough research, such as understanding a company's competitive advantages, management quality, and industry dynamics. By focusing only on surface-level criteria, investors risk missing critical details that can affect long-term performance. Munger's true approach requires patience, continuous learning, and a willingness to challenge assumptions, which are often absent in the mainstream application of his advice. The model collector myth describes a common pitfall among investors who amass mental models as if they were intellectual trophies. Rather than applying these frameworks to real-world decisions, they focus on collecting terminology and concepts, believing that mere familiarity with these ideas will shield them from cognitive biases. This approach can create a false sense of security, as knowing the names of biases or models does not automatically translate to better judgment. True mastery requires integrating these mental models into one's thinking and actively using them to challenge assumptions and improve decision-making. Without this practical application, investors remain vulnerable to the very biases they hope to avoid. The myth serves as a reminder that knowledge alone is not enough. It must be paired with self-awareness and disciplined practice. The model collector approach involves accumulating various frameworks, theories, and mental models, often with the intention of appearing knowledgeable. However, this habit can lead to paralysis, as individuals become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of concepts and struggle to choose which to apply in real situations. Vanity emerges when the focus shifts from meaningful understanding to showcasing one's intellectual repertoire. This creates an illusion of wisdom, where the person seems insightful but lacks the ability to translate knowledge into practical action. Genuine understanding is replaced by surface-level familiarity, and real progress is hindered by indecision and self-importance. Ultimately, the model collector becomes trapped in a cycle of learning for appearance rather than for effective problem-solving. Contrary to popular belief, simply collecting mental models does not guarantee better decision-making. In fact, amassing a large number of models without understanding their interconnections can lead to fragmented thinking. This disconnected approach often fosters overconfidence, as individuals may assume that possessing more models equates to greater wisdom. Charlie Munger's true intention was to encourage deep integration and thoughtful application of models, not superficial accumulation. When models are treated as isolated tools, their effectiveness diminishes and the risk of misjudgment increases. Genuine insight comes from synthesizing models and recognizing their limitations, rather than relying on quantity alone. Charlie Munger's deep interest in mental models stems from a unique perspective. He is far more concerned with sidestepping stupidity than with chasing brilliance. Rather than striving to be the smartest person in the room, Munger believes that consistently avoiding common errors and pitfalls leads to better outcomes. This mindset drives his relentless search for practical frameworks that help him recognize and steer clear of cognitive biases and faulty reasoning. By focusing on what not to do, Munger cultivates a disciplined approach to decision-making. His philosophy suggests that success is often found not in extraordinary genius, but in the careful avoidance of avoidable mistakes. Charlie Munger's core message emphasizes the necessity of choosing the appropriate tool for each specific problem. He cautions against relying solely on one mental model or approach, as this can lead to blind spots and errors in judgment. Instead, Munger advocates for a broad toolkit where each model is understood not just in isolation, but also in terms of how it interacts with others. By recognizing the strengths and limitations of different models and how they can complement or conflict with each other, we can make more informed and effective decisions. This approach reduces the risk of misapplication and encourages a deeper, more nuanced understanding of complex situations. Charlie Munger's latticework of mental models acts as a robust failure detection system by integrating insights from diverse disciplines such as economics, psychology, and engineering. By drawing on economic principles, one can recognize incentives and market dynamics that might signal underlying risks. Psychological models help identify cognitive biases and irrational behaviors that often lead to poor decision-making. Engineering concepts like redundancy and margin of safety encourage building systems that can withstand unexpected shocks. When these models are applied together, they create a comprehensive framework for spotting potential pitfalls before they escalate into catastrophic errors. This multidisciplinary approach ensures decisions are not made in isolation, but are instead informed by a broad spectrum of human knowledge, greatly reducing the likelihood of failure. The model collector is primarily focused on accumulating a wide array of mental models, often treating them as intellectual trophies. This approach emphasizes quantity over depth, with the goal of possessing as many frameworks as possible, regardless of their practical application. In contrast, Munger the pragmatist selectively adopts models that have proven utility in real-world decision-making. His method involves rigorous testing and integration of models, ensuring they genuinely enhance understanding and outcomes. While the model collector may end up with theoretical knowledge, Munger's approach leads to actionable insights and tangible results. Ultimately, the difference lies in intention and execution, collecting for the sake of collection versus applying models to solve problems effectively. The popular interpretation of the latticework often encourages individuals to believe that simply knowing a handful of mental models is sufficient for deep understanding. This mindset can foster intellectual vanity, where confidence is built on superficial knowledge rather than genuine expertise. As a result, people may overestimate their abilities and make decisions without fully grasping the complexities involved. Such misplaced confidence can lead to errors in judgment, as critical nuances are overlooked. Ultimately, this approach undermines thoughtful analysis and discourages the humility necessary for continued learning. By treating the lattice work as a checklist rather than a dynamic framework, we risk stagnation and the propagation of shallow thinking. In the final reveal, the great lattice work trap emerges as a paradox. What was once designed as a tool for humility, encouraging investors to recognize the limits of their knowledge, can inadvertently become a weapon of overconfidence. When investors rely too heavily on frameworks and mental models, they may overlook subtle complexities and hidden risks. This misplaced confidence can lead to decisions that seem rational on the surface but are vulnerable to unforeseen pitfalls. The trap lies in mistaking the comfort of structure for true understanding, exposing investors to dangers they believed they had already accounted for. Ultimately, the lesson is clear. Even the most sophisticated tools must be wielded with caution and self-awareness. For the prudent investor, the key lesson is to prioritize a straightforward and integrated approach over amassing a collection of complex models. Success in investing often hinges on humility, recognizing the limits of one's knowledge and remaining open to learning. Regularly checking for errors and refining your process helps guard against costly mistakes. By focusing on consistency and allowing small improvements to compound over time, investors can build a resilient strategy. Ultimately, it is the discipline of maintaining a simple, connected process that lays the foundation for long-term growth and stability. Three essential models serve as the foundation for robust decision-making and long-term success: incentives, inversion, and margin of safety. The incentives model highlights the powerful influence that rewards and motivations have on behavior, reminding us to carefully consider what drives actions in any situation. Inversion encourages us to approach problems by thinking backwards, identifying potential pitfalls and obstacles before they arise. The margin of safety model emphasizes the importance of building in buffers and safeguards to protect against uncertainty and error. Together, these models provide a comprehensive framework for making thoughtful, resilient choices in both personal and professional contexts. As we wrap up this discussion, take a moment to consider your own approach to the subject. Reflect on how your experiences have shaped your perspective and think about the strategies that have worked for you. We encourage you to share your insights and stories, as your contributions can help foster a richer understanding for everyone. If there are topics you'd like to see explored in greater depth, let us know. Your suggestions are invaluable in guiding future analyses and conversations. Together, we can continue to delve deeper and learn from one another.